what is the thing you cannot stop thinking about? That should actually be your job, because you're going to do it well. It's not going to feel like work. You're going to do it well.
Yep.
You're going to be paid for what you love.
Yep.
I mean, thank you very much. You're going to need people that are super interesting, that are your tribe.
Yep.
And you're going to help others. And you're not going to feel frustrated, resentful, in fear, la la la. No, it's going to be like, I'm waking up this morning and I love my day because I'm going to do something I actually love to do.
Reminder, you did not come here to play someone else's game, to box yourself in, or to let fear guide your choices. You came here to experience joy and abundance and to love the shit out of your life. The Trajectory podcast is here to remind you of a few important truths. 1, you are the creator of your reality. 2, anything that you can dream or imagine, you can create. 3, following passion is the quickest way to align you with your true path. 4, your reality is always a reflection of your current thoughts and beliefs, and those thoughts and beliefs can be changed at any time. You are amazing, and it's time to own who you really are. Tune in weekly to be reminded that you can create the life that you're dreaming of and to learn exactly how to do it. Get inspired by those who have been bold enough to follow their passions and have created their dream life because of it. If you're ready to stop playing small, stop holding yourself back, and start aligning with your trajectory, let's do it. I am very, very excited for our beautiful guest today. Her name is Dr. Sarah Brikké. She's a PhD. She's an environmental educator, a sustainable development specialist. She's a keynote speaker, and also, very importantly, she's a Latin dancer, and we'll get into that as well. But I want to tell you all a little bit about Dr. Sarah before we get into this chat, because this is a very accomplished woman, and I love her passion, and she just radiates this beautiful energy, and she's even in her element right now. She's sitting in nature in her beautiful garden so that the plants and trees can talk with her, because they've got a lot to say through her today. So Dr. Sarah Brikké is a citizen of the world and has lived in 9 different countries, including Kenya, Peru, France, the Netherlands, French Polynesia, New Zealand, Vanuatu, Australia, and Indonesia. And oh my gosh, I need to travel more. Her relationship with the natural world has shaped the person that she is today. Dr. Brikké holds a PhD in environmental psychology and environmental education from Griffith University in Australia. She is the founder and director of Healing with Nature, which is a certified ecotourism business offering nature therapy and nature play sessions to a wide range of audiences. She's been working and researching in the fields of environmental psychology for more than 20 years across the globe. Now calling Australia home, Dr. Brikké is a loving mother to a beautiful son, and she's deeply connected to Australia, to its culture, history, people, dreaming stories, the plants, the animals, the oceans, rivers, bush, and medicine. She is extremely passionate about connecting, well, let's say reconnecting people to themselves, to nature, and to their community. So thank you so much for being here, Dr. Brikké. How are you doing? How are you going?
I'm really good, Sarah. Thank you so much for having me today.
Oh, you're so welcome.
It's a bit cold here in the garden, but it's lovely to be outdoors.
I just love that you're outdoors. I think you're the very first podcast interview I've had where someone's gone to sit outside, and it's very fitting for the work that you do. So the way that I actually came across you was my work colleague, my business partner was we run a production house. We film all sorts of content, you know, whether it's ads, speeches, for example, like with you. And he was filming at Macquarie University, and you came up and gave a keynote speech. And he said, out of all the speakers that day, yours just stood out so much, and your passion was just shining above everyone else. And he was like, you've got to look at this woman. You've got to talk to her. And as soon as I looked at your profile and I watched a little bit of that keynote speech as well, I was like, okay, we need to talk. I want to learn so much more about what you do because it's so fascinating. I think it's so important. And I think it's going to become a lot more prevalent in the future. Like more and more people are feeling the call to come back to nature, to ground more, to just be more connected to Mother Earth in so many different ways that for quite a few generations we've really just ignored. So I think your work is really important. So can you start us off with what it is exactly that you do? Like, what does a typical week look like for you? What's your job? Tell us what you do.
Well, I have many different hats, Sarah, but
love that.
what I love about my job is that every week is different. Every day is different. There's no week that is the same. And I love that. I love diversity. I love the fact that I can be really creative and put into action and into reality some ideas and thoughts. So I work part-time 3 days a week at the Botanic Garden of Sydney
Oh,
as a
amazing.
community lead. I lead their community programs there. They're mainly based around well-being. So I go there, take the ferry, walk in the beautiful gardens. So I'm very happy with this amazing job. And the rest of the days, I'm an environmental educator with different businesses that offer school excursions to children in various settings, whether it's by the beach, in the bush. So it goes from kindergarten to year 12, and I teach as a geography and biology science teacher. And on the other days, I work with my business and I offer nature therapy walks and nature play sessions for families all around Sydney.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's very busy.
I love that. I love the variety. I'm big on variety myself. I
Mm.
can't do the same thing every day or I just go really stir crazy. But I also love that you're catching the ferry to work, you're utilizing the waterways, like you're in nature just all of the time. So, I
All the
mean, from what
time.
I see from your profile, you do seem like quite a happy person a lot. And I think that's got a lot to do with how much you're connected to nature, right?
For sure, for sure. And it has been such a healing space for myself and all my clients and people who join my programs. It's look, I cannot preach what I don't do myself. So whenever I feel a bit stressed or overwhelmed, not sleeping well or a bit sad or there's things going on, I just go in nature and it's like a magic pill. Everything turns out to be really good after that.
It's
And like yesterday, I was preparing a little bit for this morning and I just thought instead of staying home, I just went to Manly Dam and took my hammock and
oh,
worked from
nice.
there. So
That's a great
I
idea.
think I think it's important to think out of the box, right? We cannot, often we're used to do the same things on and stay in the office or at work and let's do what we have to do, but outdoors.
Mm.
And I have found from experience that my creativity, my ability to focus and produce and just be really productive has increased tremendously when I'm in nature.
I don't doubt that. Honestly, I find
Mm.
a very, very contrasted difference between the days that I don't step out in nature. Well, there are some days every now and then because I work from home, so I'm doing a lot of editing. I'm working at the computer and doing the podcast and all sorts of things. So those days where I'm literally just me and technology and I haven't stepped outside, sometimes I don't feel it till towards the end of the day, but it really then lingers into the next day and I don't wake up in a great headspace and then those days that I remember, oh my gosh, that's what it is. It's only been the last few months that I've really clocked on to the fact that I need a certain amount of time in nature every day to calm myself down, to recalibrate and to re-energize myself. And that is my version of meditation. I used to be really hard on myself because I couldn't meditate so often, with the full on sitting still and really, watching your thoughts and all of these sorts of things. And I couldn't get out of my head. There was just too much noise going on. But when I walk in nature, that's my meditation. It's everything is just peaceful and I just observe it and I'm just in awe all of the time. Like especially sun streaming through leaves is just, it's like a drug for me. It actually lifts my spirits in insane ways that I didn't think that it could. Like when I was younger, I would have laughed at something like that, but I'm like, no, I'll be that person who's everyone's sort of walking past, just going for their exercise. And I'm just stopped staring at like some leaves like for hours. It's amazing.
There's actually a term in Japanese, it's komorebi, and that describes exactly what you just said. It's the sunlight coming through the leaves. So it is a
Oh,
thing, and it's something that we look at with lots of awe and wonder when we do nature therapy
Oh, wow.
walks. Yeah.
Okay.
So it is a
That's
thing.
good to know. It's not just me. I need to go to Japan. That's amazing. So, what was it exactly that drew you into this line of work? Was there a light bulb moment where you went, I want to do this for a living, or was it just like a natural progression that you ended up studying these things?
Yeah, I think it was a natural progression. Like I grew up in Kenya and I was outdoors all the time, every day, in national parks with animals and camping.
Wow.
So I really think that my childhood experience really shaped the person I am today. And then I studied geography. I lived in many different countries to do my research and studied and researched in the Amazon in Peru and French Polynesia and Vanuatu and Indonesia. And I think it was just, you know, things combining with each other and also doing like a Reiki course and lots of healing modalities. And I think nature therapy just came along as a beautiful way to combine all the things that I have learned and experienced. And I just thought, oh, yes, of course I have to do this. Of course. And really, when things are simple, that for me, that means that, yes, this is good. It feels really right. And it doesn't feel like a work. It doesn't feel like a job.
Yes.
And I guess that's my secret. When you do some work, or even my PhD didn't feel like work because I loved it.
Yeah.
I was passionate about it. And people feel it. People feel this passion, feel this integrity, feel the authenticity of that passion, right? And I guess it just came along. And here I am. I've got my own business, and I'm so grateful. I can be creative. I can do the programs that I want and be of service to the community. That's a big one as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. And thinking out of the box, right? Doing things differently and not being afraid of proposing something that no one has done before and being a pioneer in the field. And look, it does require lots of courage and really hard work, but it's all worth it. I would rather do that than be in a place where I don't feel aligned with the values, or I don't feel fulfilled. So all the efforts are really worth it. Yeah.
I love that. You tapped onto so many important things there. Like, for example, just being in flow. That's when you know you're really in your purpose work, right? You're doing the work you came here to do when it's just effortless. And even like you're saying, you're studying for a PhD, you're doing so much work around that. And it's like, I'm enjoying it. It's not work. It's incredible.
I'm literally enjoying it.
Yeah, that's amazing. And also being the pioneer. I think a lot of people, when they don't see, like they might have an idea or something that they really want to create, but they don't see an example of it in the world, so they think it's not possible. And that takes a lot of courage, like you said, and it's really important for people to go, that's what I'm here for. I might be the first one to create this thing, and that's okay. Like that's even more exciting than just, you know, doing an iteration of something that already exists. So that's amazing. It sounds like you're extremely grounded and just loving every day. So that's beautiful. What is one thing, and I'm sure there are many, many things, but if you could boil down to one thing that you wish people knew more about when it comes to our natural environment, what would that be?
That, I guess, even if you only have 5 or 10 minutes in your schedule per day, just taking your shoes off and walking barefoot in the mud, in the grass, in the sand, putting your feet in the ocean, just that will have a tremendous effect on so many levels of your being. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, do not underestimate the power of nature, even if it's just for 10 minutes. And of course, the longer, the better, but there's just so many benefits for us as human beings. So many. On a social level, cognitive, psychological, spiritual, emotional, physical. So yeah, go outside. Whenever you can, go outside. Even with the children that I teach, let's go outside.
Yeah.
Let's do math outside. Let's do everything outside, you know?
Yes.
And I love this saying that says, there's no such things as there's no such thing as bad weather, just bad clothes.
I love that. Yes,
Right?
so true.
What if it rains? So be it. Let's go in the rain.
Yep.
Amazing.
Yep.
And it's just getting out of our comfort zone, doing things that we haven't done before. Yes, maybe going into the ocean and have a swim. It's cold. So what? Going outside if it rains. You know, just pushing that extra boundary that we often put ourselves in a box. Let's expand, right? Let's do things we haven't done before.
Yeah.
And that's what I do in my nature therapy sessions. Is they're all invitations, and for some people it can be uncomfortable, maybe a bit weird for some people, but they're invitations. Like try and do it. Let's give it a go. It's a safe space. Let's open up to the unknown as well. Let's be brave. Let's be courageous and open to receive whatever messages comes through, right?
I love that. And it's so true about like walking in the rain. Most of my life, I was that person who, oh, it's raining, I can't walk, or oh, here, go and get your umbrella. I actually threw out my umbrella a little while ago because I just love walking in the rain now. And if I really, you know, if I've got makeup on and I don't want that running, I just put a cap on. But it brings out the childish nature of you, I feel like, because you didn't do this much as an adult, most of us. We did it when we were kids. We sort of were a little bit more free and wild back then. So it always makes me feel like a little kid, like walking around in the rain. I love it. And I see everyone else running around and I'm like, I'm just walking slow. It's fantastic.
Exactly. And jumping on that, Sarah, also this sense of play and really putting alive our inner child, our playful inner child, our curiosity. I always think, how would I be, you know, walking in nature and I would see for the first time this flower.
Yes, I love
right?
that.
And it's really fine-tuning, expanding our sense of awe and wonder and curiosity for beauty, for whatever is around us. And that's why it's so important to slow down.
And that's such a
We're
huge
not
part
rushed.
of that's a huge part of presence and mindfulness practice and Taoism and all sorts of things. So what you're doing and what you're teaching people is actually, you know, embedded in all of these ancient practices, but it might not be spoken about. But simply going into nature will tap you into all of these wisdom traditions that people have been preaching about for eons because of all of the benefits and the connection and the oneness that you feel. And it's so incredible. Oh my goodness. I love what you're doing. It makes me so happy. Hey guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you're enjoying this episode so far and getting a lot of value out of it. I'd love to ask you to take just a couple of seconds to rate and subscribe to this channel. Once you do that, take a screenshot, let me see that subscribe button hit and the rating. DM that to me on Instagram at Trujectory, one word, and I have a gift for you. I'm going to send you a link that's going to lead you to some digital artwork. These are pieces that are all original photography. I've gone out in nature and taken some beautiful shots. I've got some quotes over the top. I've got some affirmations. And these are pieces that you can blow up to any size that you wish and hang them around your home or your office. And they're going to keep you in a positive mental headspace at all times. Whenever you look at them, they're really calming, beautiful pieces. So thank you so much in advance for rating and subscribing. I really appreciate your support. It's going to help us get these messages out to a larger audience. And I want this space to be somewhere that you can come every single week to be supported, to be motivated, to be inspired, to be reminded that you can create the life that you choose. And all of the beautiful guests that I have on every week are examples of just that. So thank you in advance. I've got so much love for you. Stay true, and I'll see you soon. But so can you tell us about forest bathing? What is it and what are the health benefits?
Sure. So there are so many health benefits, but let me just introduce you to forest bathing. So forest bathing is an evidence-based and research-based preventative public health practice. So it is internationally recognized. It has been really thoroughly researched. So it's not, hippie tree hugging stuff. Woo woo. It has actually been really researched all around the world, with saliva tests, with heart rate, with people having cardiovascular diseases that were decreasing. Like, it's so interesting how many research that has been done. So what I really love about it is that it is suitable for all. It's a very gentle practice. You don't need to have had any previous experiences before. It's relaxing, it is cost effective, it's a natural medicine, and it's still very pioneer here in Australia.
Okay.
It was born in the 80s in Japan, when people were suffering from a lot of depression and anxiety due to their really urban and busy lifestyles. So what the Japanese government did is that they brought some people into nature next to forests, and they did some research on them, right? They did lots of different testing, and they saw that after people being in nature, in the forest, and doing forest therapy sessions, for example, their cortisol level lowered. They would sleep better, reduce blood pressure, decrease anxiety, improvement of immune system, better concentration, increase happiness. There's so many different benefits, right? So many. I did categorize them in different families. And we can also talk about, the benefits of trees and forest bathing, because they're pretty much together, right? So just to give you a few examples, one of the benefits are physical benefits, right? What happens in our body. Research has shown that time spent in green spaces can reduce your blood pressure and heart rate. People who have been having a surgery, so patients in hospitals that have the view on a green space from their room, heal faster and better, and do not need as much painkillers.
That makes sense.
Immune system also improves. For example, the exposure to phytoncides, which is what I'm going to talk about this a bit later, but it's basically antimicrobial compounds that are being released by the tree. Let's say it's like the essential oils from the tree, right? When we inhale those phytoncides, it boosts the natural killer cells activity, which means that it reduces any cancerous cells in our body.
Wow.
Just by inhaling those phytoncides.
Yeah, so phytoncides. Yeah, I wanted to ask you about that. Okay, so everyone look into phytoncides, because that sounds incredible.
So phytoncides are the antimicrobial volatile compounds that are being emitted by the tree. They have various properties: antimicrobial, antibacterial, antiseptic, and antifungal. And they're more prominent in the morning and at sunset.
And is that all trees? All trees release phytoncides?
Yes, nearly all trees release phytoncide, but like the pine trees, so eucalyptus, so all of the trees that we know have this really beautiful, refreshing, strong smell. These are the ones that, that have phytoncides that are really prominent.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So, I mean, you've worked with so many different people doing this forest bathing. What are some of the transformations that you've witnessed?
Sarah, I've
countless.
It's actually quite it's countless and so subtle and so profound. I'm thinking about two examples here where, so I also do job. I'm a NDIS registered provider. So I work with people with limited mobility. And one of the participants in my group was a lady who was in a wheelchair and was a paraplegic. And we went on a beautiful session for an hour and a half. And at the end of the session, I always check in how everyone is doing in comparison from the beginning, no? And this woman said very clearly, she said, "Thank you so much. I actually forgot I was in a wheelchair."
Wow.
And everyone just,
Yeah.
we both our eyes, because there was this utter presence in the moment. And this just allowing herself to be without any judgment and just fully embracing what was around her in nature. So that was a really profound moment for everyone. And another one that I think of is a mother of 3 children that has come to various of my programs, just as an adult, but also with her family. And she told me after 3 or 4 sessions that she actually didn't have to take any more antidepressants.
Wow.
That she felt happier with her children, calmer. She slept better, and just general well-being. And she was in tears, thanking me so much for showing her an alternative pathway to depression and anxiety. Not only helping herself, but her family, her community. So these examples, they're a few amongst many.
Oh,
Oops.
hello. Who we got here? Who's this?
This is Bibu.
Hello, cutie. I want to join in, Mum.
Yes.
Cutie.
And what I love about the job that I do, Sarah, is that everyone gets benefit from it. Whether you're a child, a teenager, a mom with 2 kids, a senior, a corporate, someone with limited mobility, everyone benefits in one way or the other, indirectly or directly.
Yeah.
And it is so heartwarming to be able to offer something like that, to be a facilitator, to guide people through this. I have to pinch myself every day that this is what I do.
I love that. That is what I want for everyone. I want everyone to be doing what they love, you know what I mean? And you are just so deeply in your soul work, and it's so beautiful to see the passion that you have for it. Wow. And I mean, I'm just thinking of one example. This past weekend, I was at a friend's wedding, and it was on a farm, and I haven't been to a farm in so long, and I was really excited. And there was a lot of work to do. All of us had to sort of pitch in. We didn't really hire anyone to organize it. We got a few props delivered and a few, tables and chairs here and there, but the rest was all on us. And it was, if this amount of work was done inside a building or an event center or like a function hall, it would not have been the same experience. It was so much fun because everywhere we're going, there's little obstacles, there's little puddles here and there, there's like slushy parts of the grass, there's cows around, there's little baby calves, there's chickens, there's cats, there's dogs, it's just nature, right? And it just, every 5 seconds you get a reboost of something that just lights your spirits, just lightens you, And it was amazing how much we were able to achieve, and it just reminded me of how, farm living is hard. It's hard work. But the people who lived on this farm, the husband of my friend and her family, they love it. They're all such light-hearted, happy, genuinely, deeply happy people. And when you see how much they have to do every day, you know, a corporate person would be like, oh gosh, how do you do that and still be happy, you know? But it's because you're constantly getting healing while you're doing your work. And I
Hmm.
felt it. I definitely felt it. I really didn't want to leave. I was taking photos of it on my way out. And of course, the photos weren't doing justice of the sunrise coming over these little ponds and lakes that were in this beautiful farm area. But yeah, I can imagine that you have moments like that absolutely all the time. So, I mean,
Mm.
for people who are living in apartments, how important is, you know, is it extra important because you're not actually on the ground level and you're not necessarily getting that connection sort of thing to be in nature?
For sure. If you live in an apartment, well, there's many different ways. There are many different practical tips to
Mm,
connect to your natural environment. And, you know, if just to start, you can have like little pots and grow your own herbs and have beautiful plants in your apartment. That's
mm,
the first step that I would do, bringing nature
to
in your
you.
environment to you, right?
Mm,
Also the music that you hear, you know, you can have some beautiful music with natural sounds. So bringing nature to you. Um, but yes, I mean, there's so many different ways you can connect to nature if you live in an apartment. If, you know, have a look around you. If you have a local park, you can go and have your lunch or your dinner, go for a walk with your friends, um, go for a cycle, volunteer in the local community gardens. Have a look on Facebook page or community pages. What else? Engage in like outdoor clubs. There's so many different outdoor clubs that are around. We're so lucky to have such a variety of activities happening around us. Join a bird watching, hiking, nature photography club.
oh, that's cool.
You
Yeah.
know, there's so many things you can do.
Mm.
Attend a workshop on how to do some urban gardening.
Yeah, I need that.
Yeah.
I need to be able to keep my plants alive up here. I'm struggling a bit.
And, you know, plan a weekend in the Blue Mountains or
Mm,
Central Coast. I mean, I have to be honest, there's no excuse here in Sydney
yeah,
or in Australia.
yeah.
We are surrounded by beauty
Hmm.
and it's just a step away from us.
It's so true. No matter where you are, there's always, I think they even have rules around it
Yeah.
now. Every suburb has to have a specific amount of nature, you know, per area or something. So there's always somewhere that
Yes.
you can walk to or ride to or
Always.
something. Mm,
Always. And sometimes it's easier to go with a friend so that you're accountable to each other. You motivate each other.
mm. That's a great
Yeah.
idea, actually. So, with all of this amazing work that you're doing, and even though it is really important work, it feels like it's quite, you know, it's keeping you quite lighthearted because you're just always in this healing environment, which is fantastic.
Mm.
Where does dance fit into the picture? Because I know you're big on your Latin dancing, which I love. Because for most people, it's kind of like, you know, I have a job that is draining me creatively, so I need to do this thing on the side. But you're getting amplified by your work and you're still doing these other things on the side. So
Yeah.
where does dance fit into the equation for you? What does that do for you?
Dance has been a huge medicine for me. It has been my way of self-expression. I used to be quite shy and it was, yeah, just my way of saying, hey, this is what I'm feeling or this is my body, you know, and I'm not a musician, but I feel when I dance, that's my relationship to music, right?
Mm,
I used to dance so much, especially when I lived in South America. And I guess it's just this mix of like the music, Latin music is so, there's something that really excites me and makes me feel alive and just really happy
I
and
love.
sensual. And I feel that as a woman, dancing has really helped me to tap into my femininity, into my sensuality, without any taboo, any awkwardness. It's just, this is my body expressing itself, really. And it is for me, it's not for anyone else.
Yes.
And it's just so profound. And I forget everything. I'm just utterly in the present moment.
That's beautiful.
I do not dance as much as I would like to now. Very
Yeah.
busy, but whenever I can, you know, even just dancing in my home or listening to salsa music, or just lifts up my spirit so much.
Oh, I love that. There really is
Yeah.
something, it's such a good point. There's something about, you know, salsa, Latin in particular, where it's like everyone is owning their sexuality and they're just being so free and like sensual, but it's not, you're not judging yourselves. No one's looking at them going, oh, that's a bit much. Everyone's like, whoa, like look at that person in their power. It's the woman and the man, both of them, like really just swaying. And I love, there's so many videos I'm seeing on Insta lately on socials that they seem to have a lot of classes where they just pair people up and it's like a improv, like a freestyle, and they just put a song on and there's no plan, but the two, they sort of start, you know, finding each other's groove, and then they end up falling into synchronicity with each other, and it's just like, whoa, that is powerful. It's definitely on my to-do list.
Magic. Totally. That's the magic of it, is two people dancing together on a song that they might have never heard before. They've never danced together before.
Yeah.
And they create this magic together.
Yeah, they're communicating without saying a word. Like their bodies are just speaking and being free. It's honestly, it's incredible.
And for me, it's really, it's so linked to, you know, expanding all our senses, right? Whether it's through dancing, whether it's through nature therapy, it's just fine tuning all of the senses that we have. And in our urban settings, they tend to be blocked off, right?
Yes.
Like even now, I have the sun coming through. Like how does that feel on my skin? How do I feel the warmth? How do I feel the, you know, the wind on my cheeks? What does it smell like? And it's fine tuning all of that. And since I've been doing that for many years now, it's as if that every day is like a beautiful journey. There's sacredness in so many moments every day.
I love
simple
that.
things. Don't need much.
Yeah.
It's all there, and it's all in us.
It's so true. It's the simple things. It really is. And I find that the more you know, look into self-mastery and enlightenment and all of these different practices, it always does come back to that same thing. Be here now, because all of the suffering that we go through comes from us worrying about our past or stressing about our future. But when you can be here, and nature is such a beautiful gift to pull us into the present. Like even now, I'm loving watching the leaves blowing over your hair. I can hear the birds in the background, and it's just so, I love the color green as well. So, I mean, you know, there's an abundance of that going on. It's so beautiful. Oh my gosh. So one thing I did want to ask you, because you speak so many languages, oh my goodness. And I think you said there's 3 or 4 that you can really speak fluently, but then there's another 5 or so that you can sort of, you know, have little bits of conversation with, which is huge. But I was reading this book recently that was saying, it was a book about learning and, you know, being a good learner. And they were speaking about learning languages in particular. And they were saying that the people that have the most success with learning languages are the people who are willing to look silly and make mistakes, and they're okay with that, rather than the people who are a bit more refined going, I don't want to look stupid in front of these people who speak this fluently. What's your perspective on that?
I totally agree. And Sarah, I think it's also valid for any learning, not just the new languages. Is if you want to learn something new, then yes, you have to be willing to be silly and to make mistakes and to not have it right. And I think it's also down to dropping the ego. I'll try again, and I guess with the example of the languages, many of the languages that I speak, I haven't really had any course for it. It was just learning by being in the country, talking to people, to the taxi drivers, to the cooks, to the people in the shops,
Wow.
people that I meet in the streets. And I think there's some beauty there where it's really trying. And for me, it's such a sign of respect for the culture I live in. And even not saying a word properly is funny and it's cute.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter,
Yeah.
you know. Even now I speak English. French is my first language. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's part of my identity, right?
Mm-hmm.
And now, as an example, I speak a little bit of Bahasa Indonesia, and I've been teaching it to my son, and he's been coming with me to Indonesia a bit. And I think there's a lot of play that has to be involved as well. We're coming back to that. How can I be more playful with everything that I do? It doesn't mean not being responsible and not doing your work, but how can I bring a bit more lightness and play and laughter to my learning? Yeah.
I love that. I think that's so important. We learn so easily when we're having fun because the memory is more embedded and we're really in the moment. We're not sitting in a classroom going, I wish I was somewhere else, thinking about all the things you'd like to be doing while you're studying this thing, going, nothing's
boring. You're not going to do it.
You're not going to remember it. Yeah, exactly. So really, I love this element of play that you're bringing forward. I think that is, as a civilization, we need to move more towards that, really. Like, I think that's one of the key elements that in our healing, because we've been so serious for so long. And of course, there are so many serious things that are happening in the world. But the more we can tap into that playful, innocent nature that we all have, the more we can just be here now. Again, it comes back to just being here and being in awe, like you're saying, just finding that awe and wonder in so many things. I can find it in so many things. I can't even count them. Like even just the water bouncing off, the sunlight bouncing off the water. I can become completely entranced with that for so long that I forget all of my worries.
And as you say, you know, meditation or mindfulness can be in everything that we do, even washing the dishes.
Yes. Such
it's a way of being every day.
Yep.
When I walk, when I talk to people, it's a way of being, right? It's with lightness, with joy, with laughter, empathy. And it makes the day so much nicer, both for myself, for others. Just this whole weight that sometimes we put on ourselves, you know, self-criticism or
judgment,
perfectionism, judgment. Like, let's peel that off. Peel that off. We're all humans. Let's be real with each other. Let's be authentic. Let's talk real, you know, in a diplomatic way, but let's be authentic, you know?
Yeah, and relate. We're all the same.
And relate.
That's the funny thing is we all have these stresses that this person's going to say this person's going to say that. Meanwhile, that person and that person are thinking the same thing about everyone else. So it's like, just be yourself. Just jump into it. Just jump in the mud.
There's no one like you and you're a gift.
Yeah.
Be yourself.
Yep. You're the only one who can be. It's so true.
Yes.
So I ask this to most of my guests, and I think yours is going to be fantastic. But when we're looking at bigger picture type things, what are 2 or 3 things that you would love to add to the school curriculum if you could? Like, what do you wish that kids were learning earlier on in their life?
I love that question. And I think it's fascinating because there's so much that could be changed.
Yep.
I had a few ideas. So the first one that came to my mind is bringing more nature to the learning. By that, I mean learning more about nature, yes, but also having classroom outdoors.
Yeah.
Bringing math classes outdoors, counting with rocks. Physical activity. Let's go outdoors. Fine motor skills. Let's play with clay, with sticks. I mean, it's such an incredible, rich playground. Incredible. So that's the first one. And I think that that is huge. I mean, there are already schools in a lot of countries in the world that bring children outdoors. The bush schools, the
Amazing.
nature schools, especially in Northern Europe.
Okay, good to know.
And it's really cool, really, really cool. Other thing that came to my mind is the peer-to-peer education. So not only the top-down like teacher, looking down at the kids, this is what is happening, this is what you should know. It's more kids teaching each other skills.
That's a great one. Because once you teach, you learn. It's like the teaching process actually embeds the lesson even stronger. So that's a great one.
Can relate,
Yeah.
speak the same language, right? Learning nature survival skills.
I love
camping skills.
Yes.
Make your own damper. How to make fire. How to find water.
They're so
Pretty
important.
cool skills.
Yes, and fun. Like I would have loved learning that as a kid. I really want to learn these things as an adult still. I don't know how to start a fire or, bush medicine and seeking out water and things like that. And you never know when you might need those things.
My son did his first spoon at a nature camp we went to the last school holidays, and it was incredible. Starting from scratch, going to look at the tree, getting the wood, carving with a real knife.
Wow.
And, for young boys, this can actually be rites of passages as well, that we do not have in our societies and that we long for so much. And by having that, a real knife for a young boy.
Empowering.
So proud.
Yeah.
So empowering. Mommy, this is my first spoon.
That is so cool.
Look at this. I made it. That is so cool.
Yeah.
Right? Other thing that I put down to life skills, such as cooking, gardening, even dancing. Let's, destigmatize, boys should be doing this, girls should be doing that.
Yeah.
No.
Why? Yeah.
Let's all do it together. Right? And also, I think a really important one is, sexual education.
Oh, yes, definitely.
Learning from a really young age, how does the body of a man work? How does the body of a woman work? And just not to have any shame around bodies. No shame around periods.
Yeah.
No.
Honestly, I'm still learning. I'm still learning about periods. I swear, I've got to start Googling these things more and more because I remember as a kid, we had our sex education day, but it was a day. It was like a half a day and that's it. And you're done and you're expected to remember all of that sort of stuff. And it's like, whoa, no. And it was basically here are the facts and then don't ever do it sort of thing. It was like all this fear around it that it just made it so negative. It was like, I think that's such an important one for, women to understand their cycles more and to understand the different chemicals and hormones that are racing through them at different times of the month when they get older. So they don't judge themselves.
And that men listen to that too.
Yes, so they can support their partners and not be caught off guard going, what's wrong with her today? We're wondering the same thing. Yeah, that's a fantastic one. Wow. Yeah. I mean, the schools of the future, I can see a lot of these things coming into play a lot more, but we just need to have more conversations around them because I think there's a lot of shifts that could be made in the schooling system. I mean, even when it comes to, ADD, every second kid is now diagnosed with ADD. I think the truth of it is a lot of kids are just being forced to do things they don't want to do. They're being forced to sit in a classroom that's a very negative...
Bring them outdoors.
Exactly. It's a boring environment.
They learn better.
As soon as you said maths with rocks and sticks, I'm like, that would have embedded it into my brain. I would have loved doing that, like building with rocks and counting and dividing and multiplying and doing all those things with actual physical, tangible things, being outdoors. That would be fantastic.
And through play again.
Yeah, exactly. It's all coming back to that.
Yes.
I love that. That's gonna be the title of this episode, the importance of play, because it's true.
Yes.
It really
Let's
is.
play.
And the older you get, the more important it gets. It's not the other way around. It's like, come on. Oh my gosh. So with all of the amazing work that you're doing, if there was one thing that you wanted to be remembered for, if you could only choose one thing that people remember you for, what would it be?
I think like something that has come up a lot for myself and people around me is this term of sacredness. Is, I guess I love, and I think I have the ability to create sacred moments or sacredness with really simple things. Creating magic around me and beauty, the capacity to create beauty and recognize it. Yeah.
That's a great one. That is so important. That's a superpower. Wow. Okay, we're on to the final 3 questions, my love. So,
Yes.
I love this one. This might be my favorite. I think I said that about another one, but I think this is my favorite. So, we always are very quick to look at other people's qualities, what we love in other people, and very quick to admire other people. Or if we're in a lower state, we can get jealous of these qualities in other people. But it's not very often necessarily that we look inward and go, I love these qualities about myself. So here is your moment to tell me 3 qualities that you love about yourself.
So I love that I feel I've really stepped into being, pretty badass, driven, empowered women. Inspiring other women. I've gone through really tough moments in my life, gone through depression, anxiety, and really difficult experiences. And I feel that I've raised from that. And it's so beautiful to see how I've done that being in nature and not with any medication. And just this I can do this, like self-empowerment.
That's a beautiful
And now
one.
people come to me to ask for advice and to be in my presence and to help them and be their support and their service. So yeah, really powerful working with other women. I feel that has been incredible, the sisterhood. Yeah. Another one is I'm a very creative person, and I have lots of thoughts and things going in my mind, ideas, but I also have the capacity to put into reality, like for real in this world, my thoughts. And it's a big process, right?
Yes.
It's not just up there. It's like, let's get this shit done. Let's do this. Yeah.
Birthing it is huge.
Birthing it. And I feel that is one of the superpowers of women, right? We are creatrix. We are giving birth, not only to children, but to ideas, to projects.
Yeah.
And that has been, I think, one of my big superpowers recently is definitely that, being a creatrix and alchemizing situations and experiences and projects to flourish, right?
Oh, I love that. I feel like that's what we're here for. You go through all of these lessons so that you can alchemize it, exactly like you're saying, to turn it into something beautiful and then share it with the world. Amazing. All right, what's number 3?
And number 3, I feel I've really stepped into my femininity, not only in I feel I've, the creatrix power, but also in the softening and the receiving and really honoring the feminine and therefore honoring the masculine as well.
Mm-hmm. I do love that. I
So,
love that you're not sort of, often sometimes it can feel like, well, if I'm to own my feminine, then I'm shunning the masculine. It's been masculine
no.
for so long that now, the feminist movement has, in my mind, has gotten a bit skewed. And the femininity is, it's tough to step back into that after such a long time of us all being in our masculine and feeling like we had to. But I think that's where we're heading right now. Divine feminine is coming back, and to be able to step into your softness and also hold space and allow the masculine to do the same, and to also have their, their contrasting side. That's beautiful.
Yeah, truly powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah, very magnetic, very authentic, very grounding as well. Like, there's no reason to push to be like a bulldozer, It's
Yeah.
like, how can I still do the things that I do, but with honoring that softness that we have, right? And with that, I allow myself to be so much more open to receive, open to create, open to give. So it's just this energy, right? A give and take and receive and
Yeah. Wow, those are
yeah.
beautiful, beautiful qualities. Good on you for recognizing those. That's definitely incredible. And it's going to be amazing for your son to grow up with a woman who knows her femininity and her sacred power and magnetism. Like you said, I think that's the most important gift that we have as women, our magnetism. And we so often forget about that and try to hustle and fight. And I know that's a big thing that I've had to work through, and I still am every day. The default mode is to, no, push harder. I want this thing. Whereas to get it quicker, you actually need to step back a little bit sometimes and even do less and hold that space.
And trust, right?
Trust. Oh, yes. Because that's the thing when we talk. I mean, I've done so many episodes about manifestation because I'm so blown away by the power that we have as co-creators in this life. But when it comes to manifestation, that's it. Doubt is the blade that cuts the connection between you and what you want. As soon as you start going, well, how is this going to happen? Well, why hasn't it happened yet? This and this and this, without trusting the universe, the divine timing of everything. And I know we can all look at moments in our life where we go, that happened at such perfect timing. If it had happened any sooner, this wouldn't have happened, or I wouldn't have been ready for it or anything. And yet we quickly fall back into, when I say we, I definitely mean me. We fall back into, oh, but why hasn't it happened yet? And then that's when you're actually cutting off this magnetism that you're creating. It just, if everything was instantly produced, we would get bored. We would just get bored. It would be like, I want this, there it is, done. You wouldn't have the adventures of life. You wouldn't have the ups and downs. And so I think, that's such an important part, having that faith and that trust and holding it and being like, that's a sacred commitment to just hold that and know that it is happening for you, and it will show up at the most amazing time, and you'll go, oh, that's why I had to wait.
And it will show up when I'm ready.
Exactly. Yeah.
When I've done the work, when I'm ready to receive it.
So true. It's very easy to say, I want this thing. But if it actually popped up in your life right now, would you be able to hold that thing? Like, that's something I've had to ask myself many times. I'm like, oh, actually, I've got some work to do before I can actually have the capacity to do or be or hold that thing.
And also, do you have the capacity to hold the amount of light and power that you have?
It's so true. Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay, so what is your definition? I love that everyone has a different definition of this. And the word purpose has been thrown around so many times in so many different ways. I think it's lost some meaning for some people. What is your definition of living in your purpose? What does that look like to you?
So a few things that I wrote down, and it was really a beautiful question to to look into. Thank you so much. I think it's so important to ask this question regularly through life. So important. And we change with stages of life as well.
Yes.
Like my purpose is different now that I'm a mother, that I have my business, than it was 10 years ago. Different. So I guess my purpose when I was thinking about it is really what came to my mind are a few words. It's like authenticity. What do I do every day? Or how can I be as authentic as I can in everything that I do? Because that's what I want to be. I don't want to be faking. I don't want to be someone that I'm not. I don't want to be people pleaser. I want to be authentic. And my purpose is to, by being authentic, allowing others to be authentic too.
Absolutely.
And to drop in, right? And my purpose really now is to be of service to others, of kind of being a leader in the field that I am now, and just being courageous and believing so deeply into the benefits of what I do. And, you know, I heal others as much as I heal myself in what I do. So I came to a point now where I really feel I am living in my purpose. I love what I do. I'm in the values that I respect, and I feel deeply authentic. So I wish this for everyone, you know, finding something that you truly love. What is something that you cannot stop thinking about? Look at that thing, and that might be what you have to do as a profession. It doesn't have to make sense. It doesn't matter if your parents agree, if your partner agree. What is important for you? What is important for me is to have my nervous system calm, to feel happy, to feel safe, to feel home in my own body. What's important for me is to expand my senses, to feel everything, to be present. And by being that, I can help others. How amazing. We are like these rocks that have a ripple effect in the water. We are that in whatever we do. And it's just finding that field, finding that job, or whatever book you're reading, or the podcast that you're doing, Sarah. How can I transmit the light, my light, to others? That's the purpose.
Wow. There, I've got chills. There are so many beautiful responses in that, and I agree wholeheartedly. I love that you started with authenticity, though, because I think, and that's literally why I called this trajectory, because I think you need to connect with your true self, and your true path is revealed from there. But it's so often that we don't even think about that. We're not walking around going, am I being my true self? That's not really something that you think about. You're just sort of getting on with life. And when you start to slow down, and like you're doing, you're finding sacred moments, you're giving yourself space in every day to have these moments of reflection, and you're finding more and more that you're connecting with who you actually are. And that's what is, to me, that is the most beautiful thing. And that's what we're here for. But yeah, really finding that thing that you can't stop thinking about. I love that, because I think that's, and not worrying what other people think, because most likely they won't agree with you. That's the thing. It's like, again, this being the pioneer and being courageous enough to go, I love this thing that much that I might have to be the first one to show everyone that this is actually a thing. You can make a career out of this thing that's strange. Look how many interesting and unique careers there have been that have been created over the last decade that didn't even exist because maybe technology didn't exist to support it at that point, or maybe people didn't have the confidence to just do it. But it's incredible. I love humans. I love what we're capable of. And when we stand in our own way, it's just the most heartbreaking thing. And I know that from experience. I've stood in my own way for many, many years. And that's why I have this really deep passion to watch people find that thing that lights them up. because I know when I've started to step into the things that light me up, it's like two completely different lives. And you have the choice to live in either one at any given moment.
And you shine differently when you're in your truth.
Absolutely.
Everything opens up, portals open up, abundance
Yep.
opens up effortlessly.
Exactly. Thank you. I sound
Thank
like
you.
a broken record. I say that all the time, but it's so true. The more you align, the more you become in your true path, the more you're just a magnet for abundance, for everything that you want, because you're not resisting the current. You actually already have all of these things. It's ourselves that are resisting it with all of our fears and doubts and worries and concerns and comparison and judgment. And it's just exhausting being human sometimes when you live in that reality. So,
and gratitude is such a huge part of it all, right? Of
receiving.
the, like, not taking anything for granted.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you, even. Thank you, sun. Thank you, wind. Thank you, beautiful humans. Like, really being authentic in that too. Like, nothing is given. It's everything's a gift, really. Right. And I think, if, I'm 41, I still have a couple of years, but what do I really want to do in my life? That's the purpose. What lights you up? What makes you feel alive? That's another one.
Yep.
What excites you? What makes you want to read even more books on that topic?
Yes.
That is your purpose. And whether you're 20 or 50, 60, you can still take that course. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
Oh, it's so beautiful. It's so true. Okay, final question. So this is for the people who might be sitting in a job that they're not happy with, they know is not aligned with them. They might know what they want to do, or they might not know yet, but they know that they're not where they're meant to be and they want to start stepping towards the life that is actually aligned with them. What's one piece, and I'm sure you have many pieces, but let's try and boil it down to one. What's one thing that they could do now to start moving towards that thing?
Okay, what I did many occasions in my life, I took a piece of paper. I drew a line in the middle, plus, minus.
Love it.
What do I absolutely love to do? Can be anything. Just note it down. What do I hate to do? Note it down. And then try and see, really bluntly, okay, what type of jobs would fully relate to all the plus signs here? What would it be? And you might come up with an idea of a whole different career path. Because again, what lights you up, what is the thing you cannot stop thinking about? That should actually be your job.
Yes.
Because you're going to do it well. It's not going to feel like work. You're going to do it well.
Yep.
You're going to be paid for what you love.
Yep.
I mean, thank you very much. You're going to meet people that are super interesting, that are your tribe.
Yep.
Thank you. And you're going to help others. And you're not going to feel frustrated, resentful, in fear, la, la, la. No, it's going to be like, I'm waking up this morning and I love my day because I'm going to do something I actually love to do. How many people have the gift to say that? Not that many.
Exactly.
Not that many. Because I think there's a real inner work that needs to be done first.
To trust yourself.
Coming back to authenticity, back to integrity. Who am I? What do I love? What is my gift to this world? What are my offerings? How can I be of service? And I agree, not everyone is in that framework, and that's totally cool. But if you are, it's worth it. Even take a week off on a holiday.
Yeah. Just
go somewhere in nature, go camping. Think about it. Yeah.
Wow.
And you can be whoever you want to be. Do whatever you want. We are our own limits.
Mm-hmm.
You can be whatever you want to be. And that would be amazing because you're such a gift. And we need you in that gift. We need you to step up. We need you to be in your sacredness and your power. Not like halfway dimming. No. Come on, show up, you know? Be brave.
I love it. I could listen to you all day. It's so spot on. It's so true. And I think more people are slowly coming to the party, but then the more people that do come to the party, the more people see that there's more people doing what they love, and it is a snowball effect, and it's going to happen because we're going to look back maybe 50 years from now and go, people used to do what they didn't like every day and they were okay with that? What the hell? So it's happening. But thank you so much for all of your wisdom, your insight. You are inspiring as hell, woman. I'm so grateful to know you. And I'm just like, I just love everything you do, what you stand for, and all of the things that we've learnt today. So if anyone wants to follow you and learn more about what you're doing and maybe come and do some forest bathing with you and get some amazing healing, where's the best place for them to look?
Sure. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you so much for having me as well. And thank you for the job that you do. And I can see you shining in your light with, you know, the offerings that you give to the community and having this platform for women to share, you know, what they do and empowering others. That is, yeah, such a blessing. So thank you to you too.
Thank you. It's so sweet.
And yeah, if you want to be part of one of my walks or if you want to have a chat and connect, I've got my website, www.healingwithnature.com.au. I'm also on Instagram, healing_with nature. So yeah, please feel free to reach out. And I'll be happy to connect.
Amazing.
And see you soon.
Amazing. Well, I will put that in the show notes as well so everyone can just do a quick click and follow all of the things that you're doing. But again, thank you so much for your time. And this was
pleasure,
such a
Sarah.
beautiful chat. Have a beautiful day. Enjoy nature and the sunshine.
You will do.
I'll talk to you soon.
You too. Bye, Sarah.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.